Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Toasting Rhynocs in this case and talking mental health. We're here in Spyro 3, going to do some skating, and I've got none other than Conor O'Neill here, my dear friend. Yeah, to be on the Toasting Norks series. What is up, buddy? It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Noel. Thank you for having me. Thank you for that lovely, warm welcome to the channel. Delighted to be here with you. You've done some great work. But I just want to say first and foremost on with this, with all your videos so far in this, and I wish you all success with this going forward.
Thank you so much, Conor. It's awesome to have you here. I'm really excited to have not only a guest, but a friend, so I think it'll be perfect. So, yeah.
Insert photo here where we met.
Yes, yeah, I know, with our meeting place. Me and Conor go way back. It's been, well, I guess it was 2018, right, when we met?
It was indeed, yeah.
Yeah. That's like 7 years now, right? I'm not good at math, but I think it is.
I think yeah. My math is crap. Is what not very well, but
Roughly, yeah. We can let them do the math. We can let them do the math.
Yeah, then the stereotype down here.
Yeah. But yes, Conor is such a good friend that he came all the way from Ireland to be at my wedding in Kentucky. So yeah, he's pretty awesome and very well revered in my household. So Conor is here today to talk about autism during Autism Awareness Month, right?
Yeah, spot on.
Awesome. So I will hand it off to you, Conor, and you can just take the lead here. We'll do some skating while you run us through your different talking points.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, thank you, Noel. So I'll just start off with just tell the viewers a bit about my diagnosis. So I was diagnosed with autism along with ADHD back when I was 13 years of age, which I believe at the time would have been considered late for males to be diagnosed with autism. But truth be told, even though I was diagnosed at 13, from talking to my parents about it, we definitely reckon that I had it from an early age, because from an early age, like my mom especially, she was noticing that my speech was delayed. I wasn't developing as quickly as I should be, and my mum definitely noticed something was not right with me as well. Not right, basically, not right. So we did go for a test. Even though I wasn't diagnosed then, I definitely reckon that I've had autism like from a young age, because I've always had like special needs assistance in school. Like even before I was diagnosed, I would have had like assistance in like all areas of school, from like elementary school, like from preschool and all those things. So I definitely reckon that I had it from a young age. And yeah, so I also want to mention as well, so I also have ADHD now. For anyone who doesn't know, with autism, you're more than likely going to have a learning difficulty along with that. So I have ADHD, and I also have dyspraxia. I'll just talk about just the things for me with autism, because I remember it was really when I was 19, kind of leaving school, when I kind of really started to look into it and kind of learn the most about it. Because I remember actually when I went to kind of like a post leaving cert college. Basically, that's like our leaving exams at the end of school, like kind of like a college after school. I remember going for another assessment to see where my autism was, and I remember talking to my parents about it, and they would have explained certain things. Like when I was younger, I would have had like outbursts in shops, and they would have talked to me through that. And then that's one of the things, like, they kind of change, because a lot of autistic people don't like change.
Yeah.
So like, and then they get loud noise as well, like sensory stuff. Sensory as well can be a big thing for people with autism as well, and as well as the large crowds well. So I would have had difficulty with that. And I remember my mum broke it down for me when I'm thinking about it. I was like, yeah, it makes sense, sort of thing. I used to actually have these kind of funny kind of outbursts. They were not really funny at the time, but like
Right.
if like some like for example, I remember being at the assessor's like house, and she didn't have like I was hooked on brown bread at the time. I don't know why I remember this, but like she didn't have brown bread, and I just could not compute in my head how someone could not have brown bread in her house. I don't know why. It's just so funny to think about that now, but at the time,
That's
like it was so serious.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
like how do you not have this? It was kind of like looking back at it, like it's just a wrong thing to have like such a outburst over. But, like,
Well, not to
but
take
when it-
you not to take you off course, but I have to ask as an American, okay, and not even as an American because, dialect is different everywhere, but is brown bread like wheat bread for you guys, or is it like
we had like wholemeal and like sourdough and
Okay.
different kind of bread. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
So
brown
yeah,
bread's like wheat
yeah.
pretty much, or
Oh yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
wholemeal stuff. Yeah,
Okay, I know what
the
you're talking
wheat
about. I know what you're
bread.
talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had
But
good
you
wheat
likes
bread
the
and also.
healthy kind, so hey, that's a pretty good pretty good
Oh yeah,
bragging point.
definitely yeah. You see my workplace. We have all these kinds of breads.
Yes. That's awesome. That's
But,
awesome.
but like I just think it's just so funny of all the things to have an outburst over like like brown bread was in the house. Like I suppose like that's another thing with autistic people as well. Like they kind of maybe they don't maybe think they can try to think outside themselves at times.
Okay.
They're not thinking of because we're trying to understand the world around us. You see.
Okay.
We're like our brains are just wired a little bit different, so we're trying to figure out the world, like so maybe in my head to explain that maybe looking back maybe I didn't I thought I knew, but there's a shop and you could have prepared for guests sort of thing, because I
Right.
remember like we guests in my house, we'd always have there'd always be a big fuss over, we always make sure we'd have X amount of stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of the thing that I have. That's kind of I also kind of like maybe what happened like that. But like I'm not too bad on change. Like there are certain things I don't want changing in my
Yeah.
life. Like for example, a simple thing was like I don't want anyone else cutting my hair, for example, because me and my hairdresser are like best friends, and she knows me and my hair like the back of her hands. So it's like I
Yes.
don't want that changing. And also I need that reassurance from people as well. Like if something is changing, I need to know that everything's good. Like like if like say for example, like kind of in links to anxiety as well, because I know anxiety can be a huge thing for people with autism as well. Like if I remember doing talks about this in one of my episodes, where if I haven't heard from someone in a while, I kind of wonder, wait, I've not heard from this person for a while. Like we were talking for like ages there non-stop, and now we're not talking. Like something happened in our last call,
Right.
someone say something, that sort of way. So kind of needing that kind of reassurance more so is a big thing for me as well. I only kind of recently found that out in the last couple of years about myself, actually, that I do need that reassurance,
Right.
that everything is all right, which might be surprising to people who watch this video, because a lot of people would see me as a real confident, outgoing
Yeah.
person, like so that'd be a surprise to hear from people. But once I think as well, it puts my mind at peace. When someone says, no, all is good, all is good. That's kind of my traits about change. I mentioned, reassurance. And I think my routine is very important to me as well. Like I wouldn't say like I'm terrible in terms of like I need to have like a map out of my day sort of thing. Like I do like to have a good, but I do like a kind of my routine kind of, even with work, for example, I like to go to bed at a certain time.
Yeah.
Like if I make breakfast, I'll clean up straight away. Like that's just my routine. Or I'll do my shower, do my teeth. That sort of thing. Like or like I need to have a rest now before I go off hurling training, say for example. So routine is a very important thing to me as well. Yeah, and just to touch on my ADHD, one of the things that I for me with ADHD, there are times when I could be like picking a song, say, to play on the TV, and like that it's gone, and I'm wondering like what's going on, like what was the song I was going to play, can go out of your head, and that can be really frustrating
Yeah.
because like you don't want to forget, when it just goes like that, you're like it can get you very upset
Yeah.
over it. So like that's probably one of the main things with my ADHD. But also I'm also very high in energy. In fact, someone at work was able to be like, "You're very high in energy," like, you know, because I know ADHD can be either, it can be like one or the other, where I'm very, very high energy.
Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned that because that's something I've personally been looking into with ADHD. I mean, I do. I have a therapist who thinks, you know, it's a potential thing that I might have, but it's really hard because some anxiety symptoms also mimic it.
Yeah.
And apparently in
Yeah.
women it's hard to diagnose because sometimes, at least doctors have said that like the hyperactivity, right,
Yeah.
might show through as perfectionism in women, which I do struggle with
Yeah.
that. But see, I also have OCD, so it's really complicated web, and I've never got a proper diagnosis, so I don't claim to have ADHD, but I am interested in it, and it does help when people talk about it. So I'm glad that you
Yeah.
brought that up. That's a
Oh
good
yeah,
one.
and I think as well as that, if it's affecting your daily life,
Yeah,
kind of like your structure, I do think it's definitely worth getting a check out.
for
Because I
sure.
know someone recently over here, for example, she was asked, well, what's the difference between, like, say, forgetting your keys, say, like, you know, like, the difference, let's say, is ADHD, if you have it, it can affect your daily life, you know, where you can forget your keys and it just messes up your whole schedule. Whereas
Right.
when anyone who does have ADHD can just accidentally forget their keys and remember them the next day. Whereas ADHD is like a panic going, where's everything?
Okay.
What was I doing? Sort of
Yeah.
thing. Your mind just goes, like, blank.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That absolutely makes sense. And you said it goes hand in hand a lot with autism, right?
Oh yeah, it's actually one of the most. Oh well, it coexists with autism. You
Okay.
see, a lot as I said, a lot of sorry, a lot of well, with things. A lot of times people would also have a more like will have a learning difficulty, and ADHD is like I think the most common one or one of the most common ones.
Okay.
That coexists with autism.
Oh, that's super interesting. It's interesting when there are there are different things like that that kind of, like you said, going hand in hand. I think that's a good example. Like
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Not to
think
get off topic, but
coexisting
like
is it. Yeah,
yeah, like PTSD and OCD apparently go hand in hand a lot, which
yeah,
it makes sense. But you know, I didn't always know
yeah,
that, and once I did it, it made a lot of sense to me. So I think that's important to call those things out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give that insight as well, just to my kind of daily, daily life sort of thing as well. Like I've often talked to Noelle here, for example, guys, about my autism, just give her a bit of an insight to what it's like for me to have autism, and also people in my workplace. Even for example, my boss, for example, has always been very open and very understanding. Is always interested when I talk to her about my autism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you remember this or not, Connor. And if you don't want me to include this, we don't have to. But I think we talked a little bit about it when you were in for my wedding, when we were trying to plan, you know, because Connor actually came early, and we got to hang out about a week, I think, before the actual wedding, roughly,
Yeah,
which was
did yeah,
awesome. And we kind of planned everything out. And there was one day that, you know, we weren't totally sure if it was going to need to be switched around. And Connor kind of explained to me, like, you know, he's here for whatever we need, but at the same time, like we want, you know, like he kind of wanted to know a solid plan because plans changing last minute was kind of hard, right? That's something that we talked about, and I
yeah,
think it was a
oh yeah,
good it was a good testament to our friendship and understanding each other, because I think the reason that the plans might have changed was like I was having some kind of anxiety thing, and then he, you know, also has that, so it was a nice thing to talk through and understand each other, and we made it work, and it all worked out great. It was one of the best days of my life, honestly. We got to go and hang out in a nearby town. I won't say the name of it because I
yeah,
don't
exactly,
want to
yeah.
give away
No,
exactly where I'm at.
exactly, yeah.
But it was one of the best moments of my life, and I think that's why communication is so important when you have any type of, you know, whether it be a disability, a mental illness, whatever it is. Communication and friendships especially is really important. So I just wanted to kind of use that example, and it helped
Oh yeah,
me
and that's a good.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very good example as well. Also, can I also make a point? There's this kind of myth out there that people with autism they won't like maybe some of them won't like some of them don't want to leave their vicinity. Say, like
Yeah.
you know, I think that's a very good example of how like you know, if you get the right structures in place, like the person can make it, but you
Yeah.
must just communicate with them as well because. From my scenario as well, like you know, like America is the other side of the world. I also never had traveled to America before that trip.
Yeah.
I didn't know like where like kind of your kind of area in terms of like how to get there and stuff. So
Yeah.
I needed to know, all right, how do I get there. Like for example, I even had to do like 2 flights actually to get to Noel as well.
Yeah.
I had to do one from Dublin and then over to Chicago, then a connecting flight. So that also involved me chasing an airport. I just want to give a shout out to Chicago Airport. They were the most helpful, one of the most helpful airports ever. Honestly, like they were
Awesome.
so friendly
Good.
and so friendly, so helpful. Like a shout out to them if they ever see this video. Like if you're working that day in Chicago, thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so glad you had a good experience because
Yeah,
honestly, like, yeah, it's like, somebody's traveling that far for
yeah,
you, you want them to be comfortable and not have any hiccups. So I'm really glad that everything was smooth.
yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
100%. No, I like the more you plan out and the more like I also would have done research even on those flights as well. Like I would have actually done because I had to get from Terminal 5 to Terminal 3 in Chicago. So I actually would have watched the video even just to help myself
That's awesome.
locate. Okay, and I've discovered they do like a really good kind of commuter train between the terminals, which was a big help.
That's awesome. So I've never really asked you about that before, but as you were saying, it seems like, there's a stereotype with people who have autism that they don't really want to leave their area. And you were saying with the right comforts and, things in place that doesn't have to be true, right? So when
Yeah.
was the first time that you traveled on your own, and how did you prepare yourself for that? Was that something that just kind of came naturally to you, or was it a bigger step than what it feels like when you do it now?
I think two people I have to credit my parents really for my independence. I think because they would have been the kind of parents like you hear about these parents, they leave their autistic child at home, but I was always brought to places, even to shops, even as I mentioned having the meltdowns, I still would have been brought out to places. I still would have been brought on to family occasions. There was never a case of where it's like, oh no, Connor's staying at home here. It was always a case
Yeah.
of we're bringing him out into the world, we're getting him used to the world. Like we'll come up with strategies to help him cope
That's
with
awesome.
what needs to be done. And one trip I actually mentioned this in one of my awesome videos was I remember going to the dentist when I was in high school, and I had to get the bus over because my parents, they weren't able to give me a lift. Basically, their jobs didn't. Well, I'm not going to mention their jobs here, but they didn't. But they mum said to me, look, well, I can't get time off work here, neither can your dad, so you're gonna have to meet him halfway. So I remember they walked me through the bus. They walked me through how to buy my ticket and how to get on the bus, and
Wow.
and stuff. And I think, truthfully, I know that might seem a small thing, but I do think that was one of the best things I ever did because it
Yeah.
got you that independence. It got you used to doing things by yourself, for yourself, and with yourself.
Yeah.
It got in your own head to think, well, it wasn't so bad,
Yeah.
you paid the fare, you got on, and you got off at the right stop, and it's just, and if you keep just break it all down, you can do it. Like now, like there's no like I'm nearly on a bus for nearly any trip. I was on a trainer even there last Sunday.
That's
So I mean,
cool.
like
That's cool.
like
Yeah.
I love traveling on public transport. Like there's no stopping me now. Like so, if you
Yeah.
get the right places, right people, right places, and you break it all down, like you can do anything. Like I don't like if any autistic person says is watching this who feels, oh, I can never do that. Like you can do anything, put your mind to it. You just have to figure out what's best for you, and after that, you'll be okay.
I love that. I love that, Connor. That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, like, this is more of an anxiety thing, but I was just talking to my therapist about this. Sometimes, like, the hardest part is, like, the first time doing something, but then once you do
Yeah.
it the first time, you've told me this about flying, and it's, ironically enough, I was talking to her about my flying fear, but, like, after you get that over with the first time, then it becomes so much easier.
Ireland, one thing it's done well in actually, and the wonderful charity I mentioned here and later on in the video, as I am, is Ireland's national autism charity, where you can get an autism card and you can actually get you can get it and you can actually get on the and it has a wee message on the back saying, I am autistic, please be calm, patient and understanding. Please understand my needs. Thank you. And it's a great message, I think.
That's
And there's
awesome.
also And there's also an app you can use called Jam. It says, "Oh, I have autism. Like, please be understanding, considerate." And once you show that to people, that's a big help as well. So they
That's
know,
awesome.
okay, we understand. I've had actually very positive experiences with bus drivers because I've shown them the car and they've like, "Okay, take your time, no worries."
That's cool. That's cool. I love that. Yeah, I'm sure, I don't have a whole lot statistically or like facts or anything about America, but I don't think things are like as good as they could be, especially with the current administration. So I love that that is a thing that they're doing in your country. That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
good. It should be that way. It should be that way. That should just be the default,
yeah. I do think As I Am, for anyone who doesn't know, As I Am is our international autism charity I mentioned. The CEO himself actually has autism, and they do amazing work throughout the country. They do meetup groups, they do online training, in-person training. They do
That's
as much as
awesome.
they can to help people who have any connection with autism, and they try and give them support, give them needs. Like they do like job interview prep as well. Even I mean, I even before I got my job, would have done interview prep with them, and they would have said, "Oh, this is a good thing to say. This is not a good thing to say." Like if this question is asked, "Oh, just say you were doing this." They would have helped you come up with different scenarios. Say they would have done a lot of like role playing. So they do a lot of good work, and even do same chance reports every year to see how Ireland's getting doing with autism, how it's.
Cool, cool, cool. And so, yeah, everybody, I just want to say to this charity that Connor is referencing, I will, if he can supply me with it, I'll put the link to, I assume they have a website probably, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll link it. I'll link it. Anything I link, I'll link in the video, like my series and stuff as well. Which we'll talk
Awesome.
about in a second. Actually, now my YouTube series,
Yes,
and as
yes,
I
I was
am as
also going
well.
to
Yeah,
introduce that. Yes. But yes,
yeah.
yes, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I actually back in 2020 decided to start a YouTube series called Autism and Me. I was inspired to do it after seeing a play, um, and the person who wrote it actually has autism, so that inspired me to want. I was thinking of doing a series, but that play was kind of like the launch pad for me to
That's cool.
go and start the series. And I remember the first video, like, I remember I actually had the first video of the series, I actually had recorded about maybe an hour or two after I'd seen the show because I was like so inspired. And I'm also one of those people that if someone's on my mind, I have to get it off my chest. I have,
Yeah.
like, I have to say it. And so much I wanted to get off my chest in that first video that I didn't even take into account that it was raining, it was really windy. I was just like, I have
Oh
to get this
no.
video. I've got so much to say. I need to get
Yeah.
this off my chest now.
Yeah.
And but it actually led to like so much goodwill and support, and people were like,
Oh,
"I love this that you're doing this, and I love what
that's
you
so
said, and
cool.
I love like." One of my friends, Liana, even said to me, "I love it. I love when you say you're as good as anyone," and that's the thing with people who are autistic watch this video. You are as good as anyone. Do not let anyone tell you any different. No, never
Love
think
that.
you're down here. You can be anything you want to be.
That's
If you
right.
put find your passion and stick to it. So I do. So I wanted to do a series because I want basically documenting what it's like for me to live with autism. And just remember one thing, guys: we've met one person with autism. You've met one person with autism. Like you could meet me and my need. You listen watch the video hear my needs, but you could meet another person in the room in the room as well, and they could have a completely different set of needs. Like in nearly every group I've been in where there's a couple of autistic people, the needs are nearly different all around, all across the table. So it's very important to bear that in mind. So in the series, I've done so many different topics. So I've done sympathy, empathy. I've done ADHD. I've done anxiety, and I have done kind of traveling solo actually, because we were mentioning that there,
Yeah.
Noel. My recent video was on where I think Ireland can improve its understanding, acceptance, and awareness. Sorry, when it comes to autism, because I do think Ireland has come a long way. I do think it has made improvements, but I think we can always be learning and we can always be improving. So some of the things that I did touch upon in the video that I did touch on, just there's a few things, you should see statistics here I even took from the same chance report that as I am did from 2025.
Perfect.
Just I even mentioned this in my video that 91% believe that being autistic is a barrier to being accepted by and making friends with others, and that's one thing that can be um and a common thing with autism, like the loneliness, like you would have felt very isolated. You feel isolated. I know when I was younger, I would have felt very isolated, very like not accepted by other people, because of my autism. And I remember even watching rewatching an episode of Love on the Spectrum there, and what I think one of the parents was talking about her son saying that the loneliness can be very hard for him because like we all could be out, but he's only at home with a dog. So I mean that's kind of a thing we do, and I would encourage everyone to look out for people, but especially people on the spectrum, because it can be very easy to feel isolated, alone, and it's very easy to say, oh, they're doing okay, like but we should always be checking in. And even like 44% believe they've experienced discrimination the last 12 months on the grounds of being autistic. Like, and there has been kind of, unfortunately, things like that across the country. In fact, there was an article there actually a couple of years ago, as I talked about in my recent video, that Ireland is actually the worst country in Europe for employing people with disabilities, which I
Oh,
think is a terrible statistic, because we talk about Ireland. When people talk about Ireland, they talk about it being charitable, caring, considerate, diverse,
yeah.
and like with that statistic, like who are we trying to pull? Who are you trying to put a wool over? Like so
Yeah.
you can't really say that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If it's not in employment, then it doesn't really matter how how everyday people are. If the higher systems are not inclusive. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I definitely feel we need to be all around. We need to be inclusive and caring. I think we also need to have more hangout groups, because there are a few, but especially in rural Ireland, um, it can be very hard to make friends because a lot of people have to move,
Yeah.
and very young people are around. So I definitely do think that um, more more of that more social groups have to be done. And there's one thing I also do want to point out as well as that. Well, two things. One, 86% believe they don't have the same chance as people who are not on the spectrum, so it's important to give everyone a chance. And 92% believe that misinformation about autism and autistic people has increased over the past 12 months. And there is a
Mm,
lot of things that are like said about autism that like aren't true. Like, as I said there, like there's some people, like autistic people, for example, won't leave their house, and then like like not leave the house again. Example, that's not true. Sure, I went over to see Noel, for
yeah.
example.
Yeah.
They say that all autistic people don't like talking to people or having conversations. Like, as Noel will tell you, I'm quite the chatterbox, and her family will tell her that too. And Ashley, shout out to her, and
Yes.
Marcos. They'll
Yes.
they'll all tell you so. Oh,
Y-
and Mrs. McDavid as well. Look, all these people who met me will say, yeah, that's just, in fact, one of my friends, Michael, will say, "Okay, stop talking, it's the problem."
Yes, Connor is very, I would say, do you consider yourself an extrovert?
Oh, extrovert,
I feel like
100%. I'm
you
a
are.
100%
Yeah.
extrovert.
Yeah. You're very
100%.
social, you're very charismatic. So, yes. And I was going to say, I feel like you as a person and your series does an excellent job of somehow simultaneously breaking stereotypes about autistic people while also validating that everybody has different
Yeah.
experiences. And I think that's beautiful, and I think that's an awesome balance to have. So, yeah, I highly Highly recommend checking out Conor's series. It is called Autism and Me, right? I believe.
Autism and Me, yeah, yeah, and the my current video that I talked about is the first in recent upload, so you'll see it straight away, guys, and they're all in the playlist. So you want to check back at any of them, they are all in the playlist as well.
Perfect. Awesome. So I will link Conor's channel and I will also link the playlist in my description so that way that's easy access for everybody. Please give Conor a subscribe. Before we wrap up here, Conor, is there anything else that you would like to touch on or just any final thoughts?
Actually, we were talking about this earlier when you were asking me how long we've met. There's another one. Autistic. All autistic people love maths. I hate maths. I hate maths with a passion, guys. I was terrible at maths. Honest to God, like I would be the one person in the class. You give me the sheet of the equations, I'd be looking going. What do I do here?
I love you even extra for that because I am also that person, Conor. I do not like math. Not only do I
Like
not like
honest.
it, I can't do it even if I did. So you are
And
not
I also
alone.
want to make. You're not alone. I'm hearing you. I just want to also make the point clear that I do feel as well that my autism has helped me connect with people as well. I would have felt that, like, that there's lots of people I wouldn't have met only would have met or maybe got a chance to meet or connect with only for my autism, because I think it has helped people understand me. In fact, someone at work said to me, like, I think people with autism, they're the gifted ones. They can even see things that people who don't have autism don't see.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I think that's a very powerful line, that I think we can see things that you might think, and we're very capable people. I think one thing I'd say again to any person who might feel bad about having autism, don't. It's a gift. You can do anything you want to do. Like, some of the best people in the world, the smartest people in the world, have autism. Like, you can do anything you put your mind to. Like, so myself and my friend Lucas Bolton, close to the old, we have a saying: be the accelerator, not the brake.
I love that. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful saying. I love that. I love the encouragement too, Conor. I think that's really great because, as we all know, we have to always remember where we started. And I think as we grow and we learn these things, it is so important to share them with others because there's someone else out there that probably felt like we used to. And I think that is one of the main reasons I like to do this series. One of the main reasons I'm proud of you for doing yours. And I'm glad that we're able to mesh them together here and kind of
Yeah,
cross-pollinate,
yeah.
and hopefully it
Oh yeah.
reaches people that need it, because I think that
Oh yeah.
that's the
Oh
main
yeah.
goal.
And so I want. Oh, sorry. And one final point as well. My boss even said to me, they say autistic people would struggle to pick up things. She says that's mental, because when I said to her that I when I was younger I struggled.
Yeah,
Development wise, she said to me, it's weird because everything I show you in this job you pick up. So there you go.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. I
But
love
yeah,
that.
I love how, like, yeah, we've connected definitely, well, through this, and as I said, like, it's very, like, it can bring you together, this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The more we talk about it, the more we realize we're not the only ones feeling certain ways, So, I love it. Well, honestly, this has been amazing. Conor, thank you so much for joining me on this series. Y'all check out Conor's channel, check out the playlist, give him a subscribe. He posts amazing content. He's also a big Spyro fan, a Spyro 3 favorite, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Spyro 3 is your favorite?
Exactly, yeah. And I was saying to Noel as well, the reason I picked Enchanted Towers was because it's a reference to the first video I would have spoke to Noel about on our channel.
I love that. I love that. That's so emotional. Yep, that's why we spent over half, probably, or roughly half of the video in Enchanted Towers. We ended up in Sunny Villa, and I
Nice.
finally broke the course record, Conor. I know I'm not screen sharing, but I
Woo!
finally broke the course record in both levels. So we've had a perfect episode of record breaking finally, and also stereotype breaking. Lots of breaking going on in this
Yeah.
video. And now I'm going to hit the brakes.
Breaking records.
Now I'm going to hit the brakes by getting off my skateboard and wrapping this up. So thank you all so much for watching. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. You will definitely see Conor again. And thank you, Conor, again for being here. It's been awesome.
Thanks so much, Jamal, for having me. The very best of luck with the series. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Conor. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.